Spoiler warning. The following discussion will contain spoilers. We recommend checking out the movie first, then coming back to hang with us. But if you don't care about that, glad to have you here. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Review. My name's Kevin.
And I'm Joan.
And we are The Real Movie Guys. It's February, so that means all this month we'll be celebrating the real season of love. The Real Season of Love is a celebration of romantic comedies and Valentine's Day must-watches. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Devastated, Peter takes a Hawaiian vacation in order to deal with the recent breakup with his TV star girlfriend, Sarah. Little does he know, Sarah's traveling to the same resort as her ex, and she's bringing along her new boyfriend. So, John, have you ever been dumped before? Getting a little personal on the channel right now. Have you say you ever been dumped in a relationship? Heartbroken?
No, I've never felt like I have to go to Hawaii.
John's the dumper, not the dumpy.
That's right.
This movie right away, I'm going to give it a lot of points for the fact, for once we get it from the guy perspective. All these rom-coms, it's always the woman who's getting dumped by the guy, the woman's heart's getting broken. I want a man's heart to get broken every once in a while. Let's have an emotional guy, have him be the one who gets dumped and have him have to deal with it. And Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it gives us that. I think it gives us, I would argue, right, the male romantic comedy.
Male romantic comedy.
Yeah. Like if this is for guys, this was the romantic comedy for guys. I really love this movie. I think there's so many jokes. There's so much great comedic timing. This movie's fantastic. Now, John, you've never seen this movie before.
No, I have
We had a
not.
big conversation. I said I couldn't believe he never saw it. And for whatever reason, he never did see it. It was around that time, right, where we were getting Jason Segel was blowing up. We had I Love You Man, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Pretty much the Judd Apatow crew, I would like to call them, like the Jonah Hill, Paul Rudd. We had all these movies with that same kind of crew that were playing the market, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall was like a key milestone, so I was really surprised when I heard you didn't see it. Now, what did you think overall? What were some of your reactions to this movie going into it?
My overall is going to be completely different than what you thought.
Really?
Yeah, this movie from start to finish
Right.
was just bad.
What?
Like, this movie, I didn't find humor from it. I found like I could like some of the characters, but then other ones were just so unlikable and completely annoying that I was like, okay.
Wow, we're really on different pages. I'm really surprised we're on such a different page with this movie.
I remember when we were talking before and you were
Right.
like, you liked it last time. So going into this movie, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but we'll see.
Right.
And honestly, 10 to 20 minutes in,
Right.
I looked at my phone and I was like, I hope this ends soon.
Wow, I'm really surprised by that. Well, before we get into, I guess you got a lot more negatives than I do. Maybe we'll just bounce back and forth and see how we do. The first thing I want to really commend, I think, in this movie is the cast. I think everyone did a really good job. Jason Segel plays the down in the dumps boyfriend who got dumped by Kristen Bell.
Ryan, everywhere I look, I'm reminded of her, okay? Like, she got me this, okay? Because I would always leave my cereal boxes open, and the cereal would get stale. And so one day I came home and she had this waiting for me, because it keeps my cereal fresh. And now I have the freshest cereal.
I thought he did a really good job. Now, did you not like his character at all? Was that one of your main issues with this movie?
Well, his character seemed really stale to me. Like, I understood how he was being portrayed and everything like that.
Right.
But I felt like he was supposed to be, like, very emotional, but I didn't feel it.
The victim's penis was found behind the AC unit.
You're fucking Billy Baldwin! Aren't you? Aren't you?
Pete!
Stop staring at me!
Pete! You know you're not getting paid for today's session, right?
I'm aware of that.
Asshole.
His emotions was kind of like random crying in certain parts. And
Yeah, I got to disagree a little. I think they did a consistent job with it. Some of the funniest scenes were just the him crying scenes.
Are you crying?
What? No. I'm sorry, and I'm being so weird now.
No, that's okay. I mean, you've been weird pretty much the whole time, so it's not usual. Okay.
Like, I think he's crying in the hotel room. He gets a call from the hostess, who's played by Mila Kunis, who becomes his love interest later on. He gets a call and it's like, "Sir, there's been a noise complaint." He's like, "Oh, what's going?" He's like, he toughens up. He's like, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Hello?
Hey, Peter?
Sarah?
No. It's Rachel Jansen from the front desk.
Hey.
She's like, "Oh, there's been complaints of loud crying coming from your room."
Getting complaints about a woman crying hysterically?
Yeah, you know what? I hear her too, and it sounds like she's having such a hard time. I think it's coming from the floor above me.
You're on the top floor.
I'll try to keep it down.
Okay, I'll try to keep it down. Hangs up the phone. He starts crying again. I think in some ways, a lot of men, maybe not John necessarily here, can relate to that like crushing blow when a relationship ends. Jason Segel playing Peter, he had so much invested in this relationship that he just can't cope with it.
Don't destroy the computer. I'm just deleting these pictures, okay? I need them off my computer.
You know what? You're not even doing a proper permanent delete. You got it.
Well, if we end up getting back together, I want to have a few of them left.
You're clear. No,
Please don't
no,
do
you
it.
have to go. Done.
And I think that's really what they're trying to get over. Is it a little over the top? Yeah, I think so. But there are some people that are genuinely like that, or just like after a breakup, they're just crushed. And I thought he did a good job with that. I'm not really seeing it as stale as you are. It's just seeing his evolution of his character, which one of the main themes of this movie I like is just move on.
Sarah Marshall.
Yes. How'd you know I was dating Sarah Marshall?
Wayne told me, Chuck told me, even Rachel told me. I heard about it, everybody. You gotta stop talking about it. It's like The Sopranos. It's over. Find a new show. You need a hug. Come here.
Oh, thank you.
That's really the message, I think, in this movie. Is just sometimes you just got to move on. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, you're going to be sad and whatever, but you can't let your life stop. You have to keep pursuing things. I think that's a really great message for this film overall, and we see it with a lot of the characters. Kristen Bell is in this as well. I think she did a really good job playing Sarah Marshall, the bitchy, kind of cold ex-girlfriend.
I saw you with Peter. Bretter,
Yeah.
who's my ex-boyfriend.
Oh my God, I'm really sorry. It's
No.
not like that at all. It's not.
No, it's fine.
Well, you're-
I'm just really glad you're keeping him company, because
Oh gosh, no.
you seem like a really nice person, and
Thank you.
you're very pretty.
Oh gosh, you're like way prettier.
No, you're like so pretty.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
And one more thing about Peter. He's a really good guy. Really good. Like, great, actually.
Yeah. Please don't cry, Miss Marshall. Oh God. Do you need me to get you a tissue?
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you, Rachel.
Anytime, Miss Marshall.
I thought she did a good job at that. Now, did you like her at all? Were you a fan of her character in this movie?
No.
No?
I honestly thought she was. It's between Russell Brand, Jonah Hill, and her by like the worst characters ever. The Hawaiian guys I thought were better characters than any of those three were.
Wow, we're really on different pages here. It's interesting because usually in a breakup movie, especially when it's like from the female perspective, usually the guy's like a jerk. There's clearly like the jerk guy, and he's just a jerk. That's his one character type. In this movie, they do attempt to give Sarah Marshall a little bit of character development, if you will, with their relationship. Because they have an argument, which I think is really good, between Jason Segel and Kristen Bell, where they're talking about their relationship and why it failed. And he's like, "It's all your fault. You know, you did this to me. You've ruined me." And she's like, "No, Peter, you did this to yourself in some ways. I tried."
I think if you just maybe tried harder.
Oh, I tried. You have no idea how hard I tried, Peter. I talked to a therapist. I talked to my mother. I read every book possible. I took love seminars. I took sex seminars. None of it worked. None of it made a difference to you. And I couldn't drown with you anymore. Don't you dare sit there and tell me that I didn't try. I did. You were just too stupid to notice.
And she's going over, you know, the different things that she tried to do. And I think that's interesting. I thought that was kind of a good dynamic that we got to see that, you know, at first you're just completely convinced that she's such a total bitch, right? That's really, and that's how she comes across. But at the same time, you do see a little more to her character, I thought, along the way. So I'm like, okay, so they did add a little bit of dimension. At least it just wasn't one-sided. And I think that plays into some of the theming too, where it isn't always just a one-sided breakup. Like relationships, it takes two to tango, as they say. So
God, there was one week when you wore sweatpants every day.
You shall not pass!
Oh, you know what? If they were Sean John sweatpants, it would have been fine. But because they're Costco brand, it's like the worst thing I could do.
it's not always just one person that causes the problem. Now, you touched on something that kind of makes me sad, I have to say.
Sorry.
You said you hated Russell Brand. I think the character of Aldous Snow is pure frickin' genius in this movie. I absolutely love how over the top and insane he is.
Is it wrong to be inside you?
Whether he's just a parody of celebrity, getting like random tattoos in different languages that don't mean the same thing.
Let me tell you something about these tattoos, okay? That is Buddhist, that is Nordic, that is Hindu, that's just gibberish. They are completely conflicting ideologies, and that does not make you a citizen of the world. It makes you full of shit.
And his music video is fantastic in the beginning of this movie.
Gotta do something. We gotta do something. Before Mother Earth gets any more hurt, we gotta do something.
Because it's something you would see, especially now. I think this movie's maybe more relevant with age. You get to see like, oh, we have to come together, and he's like trying to kiss people.
In his environmental anthem, we've got to do something. I hope for once we all hear the message. Good night.
Prime Minister and Mr. President, you better see that it's not only me, no. A mob is rising in size and they've been dying.
And he's just doing his like awkward dancing and everything. It works for his character. He plays it so over the top. He's supposed to be the antagonist in some regard to Jason Segel's character, right? He's supposed to be the boyfriend that's the new boyfriend that's a total dick and we don't like him. For whatever reason, he comes out likable to me.
Did you guys have a fight or something?
Yeah, it was really... How you served 5 years under a... I don't know, you deserve a medal or a holiday or at least a cuddle from somebody.
You were only here for a week.
Well, I don't know, for me, like 1 week of it was like sort of, it's like going on holiday with, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say Hitler, but certainly Goebbels. It was like a little holiday with Hitler.
I think I like him. They have a really unique scene, right, where they're surfing and they're kind of just like hanging out talking, and Jason Segel's like, oh, you're kind of a cool guy. And like, oh, thank you. You're pretty cool too. And they have like this like whole like fun scene together.
Fuck, you're cool. It's so hard to say because, like, I hate you in so many ways, but whatever, I can see why Sarah likes you.
No accounting for taste, I suppose, in her case, anyway.
Well, she was with me for 5 years, so there you go.
And I think he just brings it. There's so many classic lines with Russell Brand in this movie. I can see why he got so popular after this film. You have to give it to the shirt scene. Sarah Marshall, Kristen Bell gives him a shirt, right? It's the ugliest shirt in the world.
Sarah bought me this shirt.
I could have guessed that, yeah.
Looks great.
You look great.
Looks awesome.
Thanks.
And he's wearing it. Jonah Hill, who's in this movie, like you mentioned, I thought Jonah Hill was funny. He wasn't the most like big character. He was kind of just a fun little side character that was obsessed with Russell Brand.
Because you know what? You don't want to be the guy sitting there watching BBC and saying, oh, I saw that guy. He was my waiter, and I totally dismissed him like everyone else does in his life. And I totally was wrong because he's a major, major, major influence on me now, and I feel terrible.
That stupid English voice, was that me?
Unfortunately, yes.
He goes up to Russell Brand and he's like giving him wine and whatever, but Russell Brand spills wine on the shirt and he's like, "Oh no, not my shirt. Take my eyes, but don't take my bloody shirt."
So eloquently as you just put it, sweetheart, but ultimately, yeah, that is... Oh no, not the shirt. Oh, but take my eyes, but not the shirt. Yeah, that's pretty much what I believe, Sarah.
When you're done making jokes, are you gonna get a napkin?
Do you know what? I think I've improved it, actually, against all odds. I think I deserve a design award.
I guess it's just so many good lines. Even when he's breaking up with Sarah at the end of the movie where they split up, he's like, "Oh, sorry, baby, I can't go through this anymore. You're too crazy for me. By the way, I slept with the housekeeper."
I hate your music.
Yeah, well, I fucked the housekeeper the other day.
He like rolls over and goes to sleep. For someone that we're supposed to hate, I think he did a really good job in this movie. I really liked him. So much comedic timing with that character.
The only character I liked
Yeah.
was Mila Kunis.
Ah, good. I'm glad you brought her up. Mila Kunis, she did a good job. I would say she was just kind of herself, but I think that worked in this movie. Like, we had a lot of characters who were just so over the top that we needed someone who was kind of level and grounded.
I'd go crazy because I think that Hawaii is a place to escape for people who can't deal with the real world.
Yeah, you know, there's so few personal shoppers and pet therapists. Gosh, it's such a hard life. I like living here.
There's some issues, with the ending, which we'll talk about, but overall, I think she did a really good job just playing the hostess, and, I felt like a natural character, and she was a nice, foil for Jason Segel, who was going through his own breakup. She's going through a breakup, too.
3 weeks later, I caught him cheating on me, so I moved out, and that's that.
What an asshole.
Nah, he's just a boy.
And again, it carries into that whole theme of that life has stopped and they both have to continue on with their lives. And I think they both did a really good job with that. We also get some little small appearances, right? We have Paul Rudd, who plays Chuck, who's like this surfer guy that's teaching Jason Segel how to surf. And he always has like an awkward like interaction with that character. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on, man? Big P," or whatever. He gives him like weird nicknames.
I'm Peter. Peter? Yeah. I'm gonna give you a Hawaiian name. Oh, great. P. Great.
And then like the next day he forgets who he is.
Hey, man. I'm Kunis.
Yeah, no, I remember. I'm Peter. We took a surf lesson together.
Oh, yeah, you're that guy that works with Kaiser Permanente.
No, I'm Peter. We had a nice talk out in the water.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I guess he's too drugged out or stoned out of his mind. I thought he was really funny. Again, Paul Rudd always delivers 9 times out of 10. Another character which I could see some people not liking, or, it was a little weird, was Jack McBrayer, who is actually in a movie we will be talking about shortly. He's in Wreck-It Ralph. I thought he was funny with his new wife. They just got married, and they have like their whole issue where they're trying to have sex. He doesn't know. He's like afraid to.
The wife wants me to do certain things that I find inappropriate. Let me just say that if God was a city planner, he would not put a playground next to a sewage system.
That was a little weird. I'll give you that. That was a little bit weird.
That was even a worse character.
Yeah, he was kind of annoying. So
I forgot about that weirdo.
Last character I just want to talk about is who doesn't get enough credit in this movie. I think he did a really good job. Is Bill Hader, plays Jason Segel's stepbrother. They only have a few scenes together, but for whatever reason, I enjoy every single scene.
Brian, you don't need to put your P in a V right now.
No, I don't. I need to B my L on somebody's T's.
That's disgusting. You don't need to be doing that. And if anything, you should leave your P in the V and blow it inside the V so you can have a B-A-B-Y and be a normal person.
Jason Segel talks to Bill Hader over the laptop. He's like talking to him, trying to get advice and everything like that. And whenever he does something, he's like asking Bill Hader before he does it, like, "Oh, should I go see Sarah?" And he's like, no, abort. Don't do that. Don't do that. You hear him like yelling on the cell phone when he's doing it.
Stop following. Just go back to your room, Peter.
They're gone.
Why are you looking for them?
No.
You're acting like an idiot. Run. Get out of there. Go to your room.
What do you think they're doing?
Peter, go.
Oh, God. Okay, there they are. There they are. I see them.
Go back to your room, Peter. Peter, go back to your room. Go back to your room, Peter.
I'm going in.
Go back to your room, Peter. Are you listening to me?
or when he's talking to him, Bill Hader's wife comes onto the video call with Jason Segel, and he's like, "Oh, I can't see you. Can you move down?" He has her head moved down, so she looks like he's giving him a BJ.
And then closer. Keep your head down, though. Yeah, closer. Further away.
Oh, I know what you're doing. That's not funny at all. You stop that.
What?
Come on, hey, yeah, real funny.
Hey, that's a great necklace, Liz. Did you have that a second ago?
Oh, that's gross.
Stupid things like that I thought was really funny. Bill Hader always has good comedic timing too. Casting, I think you have to give it to this movie. I know John's not on the same page with me. This cast was really good. It's a really stellar cast for this film. An interesting tidbit too, we get to see Jason Segel's love of Muppets in this movie.
What's your rock opera about?
Dracula? Yeah, and eternal love, you know, that's the theme, but I think the two sort of go hand in hand, you know? And I have this vision of doing it with puppets.
You have to tell me, John. Now you have to tell me. I'm gonna refuse to hear whatever else you say. You have to love the Dracula love song.
Die. 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 I can't.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Dead. I was like, die.
The Dracula
die.
love song and the finishing puppet show at the end,
right,
were the only parts of this movie that I enjoyed.
Which is funny because Jason Segel ends up doing the Muppet movie reboot after this movie. He was actually he was in charge of that, where they did that. That was always his passion. Apparently, was always Muppets, and I kind of like how like a little bit of reality seeped into this movie. Those scenes are fantastic. I mean, are they out of place? Are they crazy? Absolutely, but I think they really work. It's so stupid, but you have to laugh. And that's just what this movie really does for me. It makes me laugh.
Peter, you suck. Peter, you don't do anything of value. Peter, you suck. Write some music, but instead you sit and write these bullshit songs. It's so self-loathing. Go see a psychiatrist. I hate the psychiatrist. Well, go see one anyway. I don't like the psychiatrist. You need to go see one. See a psychiatrist. I'm not going.
I have a really good time with it. A lot of it is stupid comedy, but we're getting it from another perspective, and it's beyond quotable. John, I'm having a hard time with you with this movie. I'm having a hard time seeing how you can't like this.
Having a hard time how you like this. When I was sitting down watching this movie,
right,
there were so many times that went through my head was, how can somebody enjoy this movie?
A lot of people did, and a lot of people still do, me included. So I'm very surprised. But there are some weaknesses. All right, let's talk about a couple now. John, what were some of your weaknesses? Let's. If you're Mr. Negative over here, what do you got for me? What's so bad that really turned you off about this movie?
Should we start from the beginning? I remember on one of our reviews you were saying that when we were watching, I think it was Piranha 3D, that there was a lot of unnecessary boobs in that.
Yeah, that was
right.
Okay, I know where you're going, and you jumped right into one of my negatives right away. Okay. There's 2 scenes in this movie.
I feel like there was like 7.
There's only 2. There is only. It feels like there's more, I guess. Jason Segel, we get to see his dick. We get to see all of it for a long time at the beginning of this movie.
You just put some clothes on, okay?
I'm not gonna go put clothes on. I know what that means. If I put clothes on, it's over. Okay.
And at the end of this movie, now, I guess they're just trying to go for making the scene really awkward, which it does. Don't get me wrong, it makes it really awkward, but to the point where it's uncomfortable. It's not funny anymore. It's just super awkward, and why is it here? Like, I already feel bad for the character. I don't need his ding-a-ling flying out at me, the whole time. It's just very, very odd decision. Like, I don't know what the appeal for that scene was, honestly, in this movie. It's funny because we see it at the beginning of the movie, and we have it right up at the end of the movie. I didn't really care for it. I'll give you that. I didn't think it was necessary. It just added an extra layer of weird awkwardness that wasn't necessary for this film.
Yeah, and that's just how the movie started off. But throughout the whole movie, I didn't find it funny. Like, we've been talking about like romantic comedies. I feel like there has to be some comedy, and I didn't get the comedy in this.
It wasn't for you. This wasn't your comedy. I'll give you a couple things, though. So I think that the first half of this movie is definitely stronger than the second half. I don't know if maybe you'd agree with that at least, where I felt like the beginning setup was actually pretty strong. And then as we got like to later in the movie, I felt like it started to like not fall apart, but it started to slow down and kind of become more like just scene after scene once we get to the end of the movie. And that's really where my real plot problem ultimately lies, is the ending just kind of doesn't work for me. This movie ultimately, I feel like it just ends. Jason Segel hooks up with Kristen Bell one more time. You know, they almost hook up. It's kind of like a weird, you know, situation that they have. He tells Mila Kunis gets mad and doesn't want to be with him anymore. And she's like, don't call me, don't write me, don't ever talk to me again. He's like, okay, I understand. And he goes home. He writes his big puppet musical that he's been talking about throughout the whole movie. Great, fantastic, great scene. He invites Mila Kunis, who's like, oh, maybe I should give him a chance one more time. And, you know, she flies from Hawaii all the way to this show.
You never called.
You told me not to. And, I listened.
Right.
It wasn't easy. Might have called once and hung up.
No.
From a private number.
No.
No. Maybe.
And she's like, I quit my job. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to let my life go on. He's like, oh, good. That's great. And then they have the weird scene at the end where he's naked and she runs into him and starts cracking up and then they start kissing. Something about it just didn't sit right with me, where she like quit her job. She stopped everything she was doing. She went over there and, you know, that's kind of it. I don't know. It just kind of falls flat for me, that whole end of this movie. The puppet show, don't get me wrong, fantastic. That's definitely, again, a highlight of this movie. But just because it kind of feels rushed once we get to a certain point, it just doesn't work for me, that whole conclusion. I think we're at that point, though, we're going to give our final scores. I'm going to give Forgetting Sarah Marshall an A-.
Or maybe, you know, you could have both of them, Rachel and Sarah. They got on all right, didn't they, at dinner, so maybe.
You know what? First of all, I'm not that kind of guy. And even if I was, I don't think that I have the sexual competency to really pull that off.
Yeah, it's a gift.
I think it's unique.
That?
Hey, listen. I think it's unique that we get a story from the male perspective, right? We get the male breakup, like I said in the beginning. I think that's unique that we get that. I think the comedic timing's great. I really enjoyed it. Maybe it's a personal taste thing. I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say in the comments about this. I think this movie's a classic for me. Like, this is something I'll always watch. There's few comedies where I'll throw them on just, you know, randomly and watch it. This is definitely one of them. I enjoy it. There's so many good quotable lines. It's literally like an endless list for me. We could be here all day just talking about some of the lines I just love in this film. I think it's great. If you haven't checked it out, like John, I don't know what you're doing. Hopefully you'll check it out and like it, because I don't know what this guy's doing. But John, where do you stand with this film?
Really, no surprise. An F for me.
I'll just go fuck myself.
Sorry, what?
Flaming pile of garbage.
Wow.
It almost surprises me too. After talking about this movie with you,
right,
and seeing how much you love this movie,
yeah,
it's amazing to me because like we have some opposite takes on things, but this movie we're very far off on, and I'm very shocked because I watched it differently.
Yeah, I mean that's why the people watch us at home, right? They get our different takes. I think this movie's great. I can't see where you're coming from at all. I try. Now, don't get me wrong, I try when we disagree, but this time I think you're entitled to your wrong opinion, my friend. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Let us know what you think. I really want to know. Are you on my side? Are you on John's side? This is a hot take, I think, from both of us. I really liked it. He absolutely despised it. This is one of those very rare instances where I think the people at home really need to let us know what they think. I want to know what you guys think at home on this movie.
Give us your hot opinion on this.
Seriously, because I think this is a classic. John doesn't think so. Ugh, ugly.
Do that over on YouTube at TheReelMovieGuys. Go over there. Let us know in the comments or on Twitter at TheReelMovieGuys. Let us know your opinion on this movie, or maybe what you thought. What was your opinion on this movie, or how you enjoyed it, or didn't you enjoy it, or what did you like about it? Do you like to see the guy's emotional point of view, or do you just want it to stick with the girls?
Oh boy.
You can also listen to us on many podcasting platforms, such as...
Yes, for your listening pleasure, we are also available in podcast format: iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. Be sure to give us a listen at any of those fine places. If you're here right now, hey, greatly appreciate it. Just search out Real Movie Guys. We should pop right up. My name's Kevin. That guy over there, he's John. We are your Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. Thank you again so much for joining us for this whole month of the Real Season of Love. It's been a blast. We had a good time. At least I did. John, probably not. We got something real special for you. Make sure you stay tuned. Real March Madness is coming up. We'll catch you next time.
See ya!